The 2024 presidential campaign season is already underway, with many candidates scheduled for a multitude of appearances over the 4th of July holiday. A Rasmussen poll out this week shows Donald Trump with a 49% approval rating, compared to Joe Biden at 46%. 49% of voters polled have a favorable opinion of Robert Kennedy Jr., and 34% of Democrats say they think he could win their party's presidential nomination. Well, joining us to share her thoughts is former Arizona gubernatorial candidate, former broadcaster Kari Lake. She's just written and released her first book out this week, Unafraid, Just Getting Started. Kari, it's good to talk with you. Steve Bannon said this week that Robert Kennedy Jr. would be an excellent choice as Donald Trump's vice presidential candidate. So what are your thoughts on that? Go with a Democrat?
Well, I think it's funny, it shows that we're almost beyond Democrat versus Republican. We are now communism and globalism versus Americanism. And I've been hearing the, fake news media attacking Robert Kennedy Jr., calling him a MAGA Democrat. I mean, they just don't want outsiders in the political machine. They don't want outsiders coming into the swamp and draining the swamp, whether they be outsiders who are Democrats or outsiders who are Republican. They want just the pre-approved, controllable, easily blackmailed, easily bribed people like Joe Biden and the whole swamp system down there. I think Robert F. Kennedy has done amazing things. His book is incredible, exposing Dr. Fauci and the fraud that he is. And I think he's an incredible man. I don't believe in a lot of what he espouses. I think ideologically, politically, we have many differences. And I think that he and President Trump probably do as well. But I do believe that President Trump most likely respects RFK Jr., and vice versa.
Well, that's because he's a anti-deep state. So now your name's been floated around. Would you accept the VP slot if offered to you? How open are you to that?
Well, I'm open to saving our country. I got into this not because I wanted to get into the political machine. I walked away from my 30-year career at the top of my game, walked away from a 7-figure contract because I no longer recognized the field of journalism. It had become propaganda. And when I did that, the people of Arizona asked me to run for office. I talk about this in my new book as well. They asked me to run for office, and I jumped into the political fray and have led a movement in Arizona that is really spreading across the country. It's a movement of mama bears and papa bears, and I'm proud of that movement. I'm fighting for election reform in Arizona, because if we don't reform our elections, it doesn't matter who runs. We've been putting great candidates out there. We've been putting exceptional policy. The other side is putting out, whether they be the uniparty rhinos or the Fettermans, Bidens, and Hobbs of the world, they're putting out junk candidates because they know how to rig the system. I might run for U.S. Senate in Arizona. I'm considering that, and I'll do anything I can to help President Trump. I want to see him win because I know he's the man who can turn this around.
Well, it looks like Biden's campaign is going to focus on the economy. He says it's growing from the bottom up, but most Americans feel their standard of living has gone way down. So what do you think of that strategy?
I think basement Biden has sunk our economy into the depths of the basement and even below that. Leave it to somebody who can't even string a sentence together to destroy our country. This is a bought and paid for politician who was part of a rigged election, sitting in the White House, owned by our enemies, the CCP, the communist regime in China, owned by the highest bidder. And the last people that he's willing to help and stand up for are the American people. And I think more and more people, including Democrats, are waking up to the nightmare of the Biden crime family. It's a depraved family. It's a corrupt family. And I think everyone's ready to give him the boot as quick as possible from office.
And of course, the open southern U.S. border and immigration was a major issue in your gubernatorial campaign. It's already a top issue for 2024. Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas suggests things are getting better at the border. So are they? What's happening?
Oh, I think you should get to the border right away and take a look. It's not. This was the #1 issue I ran on. I ran on restoring order at the border, in calling it what it is, an invasion of our country, and taking our Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 obligation, really, truly, an obligation to our people to protect our people from an invasion. I have the most aggressive, bold border policy the country's ever seen. And they want our borders open. It's an invasion. This is how they're going to take down our country, by pouring tens of millions of people in illegally. Many of them are criminals. Many of them are terrorists. And many of them have their allegiance in other countries. And this is a dangerous, dangerous time in our country. We've got fentanyl pouring across. They don't want people who are going to be tough on the border. We're going to win. We're going to come back into office, and we're going to make sure that we do secure our border, whether it be from the governor's office in Arizona, whether I end up running for Senate. We want to make sure we have a safe and secure country for all Americans.
Okay, it's all in your book, Unafraid, Just Getting Started. Kari Lake, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Thank you. God bless you.
Likewise. Thank you.